I started Aries out with our usual warm-up of asking him to relax and bend on a circle. Aries likes a routine. It's helpful for both of us to warm up by running through his various skills. Today, I worked on what my friend and trainer Paul Dufresne calls a security box. I ask Aries to stand in a certain place, a security box, and then work with some scary objects. If he moves his feet, I put him back in the box. I want to teach him that if he stays where I put him, in his security box, nothing bad will happen to him. I put a link in my blog post to an article Paul wrote about the security box. Today, Shannon was there to be my ground person. I wanted to start asking Aries to move and change direction myself, with Shannon merely there as backup. Here, Shannon works with Aries to get reacquainted. I ask Aries to go forward by slapping my leg and activating my seat. Horses can feel very minute changes, such as moving your hips a bit more. I once saw Mark Rashid, an excellent horseman, demonstrate how just by curling his toes, he could get his horse to walk slower. That minor tension caused the horse to tense up in his movement and slow down. A lot of horse training is about bridging a known cue with a new cue. I am slapping my leg because Aries knows what that means. At the same time, I am also activating my seat. I want him to associate these two things together. Soon I won't need to slap my leg. I can just activate my seat and off we'll go. While Shannon worked with Aries, I went off to grab Picasso, so I could show you all the end result of endo-tapping and doing a relaxed bend on a circle. I just have to tap Picasso a few times and his head drops. And shortly after that, he begins to yawn and lick and chew, all signs of relaxation. Picasso has been doing these exercises since he was 3. He's quite good at them. On the circle, he relaxes his back, releases his pole, and bends his rib cage. Once he is this relaxed and pliable, he can be taught how to truly carry himself correctly. Back on Aries once more. As we pass near Picasso, Aries sneers at him. I quickly tell him that he cannot do that. I may be on him, but I'm still here. We walk by Picasso a few more times, and Aries doesn't pin his ears at him. Maybe he thought I wouldn't see? Near the end of our ride, Shannon's dog touched the hot wire fence by the round pen. Aries spooked and skittered forward, but he stopped quickly and didn't lose his head. I was pleased, and I hope that that is how he spooks. That's not such a bad way to spook. I've been working on ponying Aries off of Picasso, and decided to try it some more since I had both horses in the round pen. I've had Picasso for 8 years. He's a wonderful horse, very smart, and fancies himself a comedian. I ask Shannon to back me up if Aries doesn't respond to my request to go forward. He's learning that it is easier to just stay up with the lead horse rather than drag behind. Since Picasso is so maneuverable, I have Aries stand still while Picasso and I move around to put Aries on the other side of Picasso. During our usual warm-ups, I will try different things to see how Aries will react. Today, I pushed the whip over his saddle so he could see the end of it with his opposite eye. He wasn't real sure he liked that at first. On a whim, I decided to see how Aries would take a bit. This is a delicate introduction as many horses develop bad bitting behaviors because the bit is jammed against their teeth when someone is trying to put on the bridle, or they get it caught on a tooth and they jerk back in fear. Aries began to nibble on the bit when it was touching his lips. I used that opportunity to gently slide the bit into his mouth. He seemed okay with that. This bit is not stainless steel. It has a copper coating. Copper encourages the horse to salivate and helps to keep the mouth soft. I put the bridle on and take it off several times. Just as with learning to be haltered, it's not that Aries worries once the halter or bridle is on. It's the process of putting it on and taking it off that gives him anxiety. After a few more on and off cycles, I put the bit in his mouth and secure the bridle over his ears. He can walk around with it for a little while and get used to the feeling. I won't be using a bit on him for some time. I want him to become adept at being ridden in the halter before I teach him to use a bit. But practice never hurts. Above all, I want new experiences to be positive ones. He can have a great time with the bit, and if I fumble taking it off, I've ruined his memory of the new experience. So I'm careful when I remove the bridle as well. This will be our last day of mostly undirected riding. The point is for Aries to learn to go forward and to stop. Steering is still very much a work in progress. But I can't steer if he isn't moving, so going forward comes first. Aries is learning to respond to my seat and legs. It's hard to see here, but as I ask him to turn, I am applying my outside leg against his ribs. But I only apply it as the outside foot leaves the ground. By applying my leg at that exact time, while his foot is in the air, it's more clear to Aries where I want his foot to go. Next week, we will be doing patterns in the large arena. I think Aries will not only appreciate the patterns, but he will also learn more quickly how to turn, and equally important, how to go straight. Here I ask Aries to drop his head. He does it, but he is resistant. It isn't until he actually lets go and relaxes that I give the release.